Welcome to Main and Center. This segment is being brought to you by the Crossroads House right here in Batavia. Good day, everyone. It's Chris Kalin. I'd like to welcome to the studio today. We're going to have several guests in representing the Crossroads House and a unique segment that I will not steal the thunder. The director is here to tell us about it of the Crossroads House, Jeff Allen. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you, Chris. Glad to be here.
Also with us is one of their specialized volunteers, who is a doula, Tom Stable. Tom, it's good to see you, sir.
Thank you, Chris.
And today we are also going to be having a special guest. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about that and what's going on with progress at the Crossroads House now that the Phase 4 is implemented and things have opened up a bit.
Sure. We are just getting back into resident care. We took a pause for 87 days. Late March, we went on pause for the safety of our volunteers, our staff, and everybody concerned. But a couple of weeks ago, we got back into the business, and we took Conrad Gifford, who's here with us today. He's an 89-year-old Korean War vet, and just a great guy, and agreed to come on and help us kind of complete that broad spectrum look at Crossroads House. We've been trying to give Genesee County a good look at the house from a volunteer perspective, a staff, a nurse, our founder, and now one of our residents. This will be the first time we've actually had one of our residents here on Main and Center.
This is a person who has been diagnosed and is in the latter stages of life, and he was willing and an active participant to say, look, one of my wishes is to get involved, and I want people to know from my perspective.
Exactly. It's an old cliche that there's only two inevitables in life, death and taxes, but we have no problem talking about taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an opportunity to talk about our end days and how we can make them more rich.
Tom Stable is here as well. It's good to see you again, sir. How are you?
Good, Chris. Thank you.
Welcome back. Doula, master doula, I suppose, at this point.
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
But you are in a unique position as well to not just assist residents, but their families as well in preparation for the inevitable.
That's right, Chris. That's a big part of the component of our doula program. As a lead doula, right now we kind of morphed into some changes in terms of how we're dealing with our doula program, so that there's at the beginning just one lead doula that works with the family and with Conrad, and as the end of life kind of starts to evolve, we pull in other people based on the needs of the family and for Conrad. One of the things that we really like doing is dealing with a lot of the emotional and the spiritual needs of our residents. And also having them understand what that end-of-life process is all about. As Jeff said, oftentimes we will talk about anything else, but we won't talk about death. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things as a lead doula that we will do is really approach it as a kind of an everyday subject with the family and with the resident. So many times when we talk about death, we're all afraid that we're going to die. It's the one thing that we know it's going to happen, but we're afraid of it and we don't talk about it. And we're afraid of it because we don't know. And that's where the fear comes from. We don't know what dying is going to be. Oftentimes, our Kathy Penapenta will say, once we can release the family and the resident of that fear factor, then they're able to deal with that process of dying.
That seems to be the big motivator, too, is the fear of the unknown. That's what creates the fear, is you don't know.
Exactly.
And so prepping the person, resident or family, is probably the most difficult thing. And acceptance of that.
Exactly. And right now, I've been doing a lot of close work with Conrad's family, with particularly his daughter, who's has been a strong caregiver for him, mm-hmm. and helping her get through the process and talking with her.
Very good. It's a wonderful task that you've taken upon yourself, Tom, and you do it for nothing at all. You're a volunteer strictly to do this to benefit people's emotions and for the love of humanity.
Right. Yeah.
That's a special person you are.
Oh, thank you.
Tom Stable, thank you, sir. Jeff Allen, the director of Crossroads House, they are here today. Let's invite Conrad Gifford into the studio with Diane Saya. Everybody knows Diane. She is here with Conrad, and we will delve into some of the things that he wants to talk about. We'd like to welcome to the studio now Conrad Gifford, who is a very well-known resident in the area, and Diane Saya. Diane, first, let you take the lead here. How are you? Welcome to the studio, and thank you for this is a groundbreaking moment, and I want you to kind of let everybody in on Conrad a little bit, and then I'll learn some more about him.
Sure. Well, thank you for having us today, Chris. Well, you know, at Crossroads House, we talk a lot about legacy work and end-of-life issues, and our doulas and our caregivers, they really try to help the residents achieve some end-of-the-journey goals, if you will. Conrad is someone who's known to us at the house as a man of many stories. He's a very proud, patriotic Korean War veteran, and he's had a number of businesses here in Batavia and surrounding area, and his ability to recall all the details is just remarkable.
We're going to get into some of that.
Absolutely. So he had a very nice road trip not long ago to the Pembroke National Cemetery while it's under construction. So I'll let him tell you the rest of the story.
Excellent. Please welcome Conrad Gifford. Conrad, it is a delight to make your acquaintance.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. This is you're a groundbreaker. We've never had a resident come in before. You are the very first, and a Korean War veteran.
Yes.
It's an honor. Thank you for your service.
1950.
1950 to 51?
1950 to 52.
Oh, my. You put your time in.
15 months.
Wow.
On the front line. I got 5 Bronze Stars. And my records got burned up in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no records, really. They made me up one. 15 months on the front line and 5 Bronze Stars.
Wow. Oh, believe me, they can find stuff now. I've got a friend that works for if your family ever wanted it, I can put you in contact with somebody that can get that information for you. I've got to ask you, being a war veteran now, Conrad, why, I understand you took a road trip to the cemetery in Pembroke. Why was that such a big deal to you? Why did you need to go?
Boy, I want to be near home.
Those are your boys?
I moved from Florida up here
Mm-hmm.
to be with my kids.
Yes.
And it was time. I packed up. Uber, my granddaughter, Chelsea, brought me up, had a party at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Then Bradley took me up to Expo. I bought a house, sight unseen, perfectly happy with it.
Yes.
And a beautiful place. And so then I belonged to the Korean War Association in Rochester.
Okay.
And I was a treasurer for that, and on the board of directors, and also gun salutes.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 400 hours on funerals and like
ceremonies,
mm-hmm. nursing homes down in Bay of Pines and Pinellas Park.
So the military park that's being constructed right now.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You cannot find another one that's going to be nice as this.
They just got it together too, like in the last year.
Very much so. And the veterans are all anxious to get in there.
Yeah.
Now, my wife died January 5th. She's sitting on the shelf for me, waiting for me.
Waiting.
Yeah.
And this year, January 5th of this year?
Time getting short.
Yeah.
I'm ready anytime.
Yeah.
When he calls me, I'm ready.
And you can join her. Well, the courage that you display is absolutely amazing. The fact that you're coming on the radio and telling people, hey, look, I know my time is coming. I want to share my story with you. Before we get into how you're feeling, I want to get into that, though. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Where were you born originally? Where are you from?
I was born in Oneonta,
I know where that is.
near Cooperstown.
I played baseball down there.
Yeah.
I was with the Little Falls Mets, and we used to play the Oneonta Yankees.
Yeah. And I worked for some of the local farmers, Oneonta Dairy,
Yeah.
horse wagon,
Mhm.
delivered milk, and I do a little better. I worked for R.B. Simerson Milk Company.
Okay.
And Marydale,
Yeah.
and then I got a job working for the D&H Railroad
Oh, okay.
as a gandy dancer.
Gandy dancer.
A gandy dancer is the one that pounds spikes.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's heavy labor right there.
Yeah, it is. And I learned how to milk cows by hand,
Mm-hmm.
and it got my arms good. And then they called me in 2 summers later, and they said, "You haven't had a physical yet." I said, "No." And so they sent me up to Albany,
Mm-hmm.
and I had my physical. I rode back with Ronald Bree, the Oneonta department store. He and his wife.
Gotcha.
Back to Oneonta.
Mm-hmm.
And a week later, they told me, "You're laid off." I couldn't read the signal lights. Those little round circles
Right.
with the numbers. I couldn't read that. I could read vivid colors.
Right.
My chin dropped down. What to do next?
Right.
I get into my little 38 Ford Business School. I went to Utica.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up. There was the Army.
And there it was.
There it was.
And you joined.
And then I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky for basic.
Mm-hmm.
Then the school was full, so they sent me to Camp Summerlin, California. Then I went to Okinawa.
Okay.
Then the war broke out.
And then you were busy from there on.
I was busy.
Now, when you were discharged after your 5 Bronze Stars and everything, that's just shocking. You came back to the United States. What led you to Batavia?
Batavia? Well, I was working for the Dairymen's League and the Borden's Company. In Mount Upton, they got me a job.
Mm-hmm.
Then they sent me to Delhi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never graduated from 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
And
So they wanted you to finish up.
Well, no. What they did, they want me on a specialty, on research.
Mm-hmm.
So they put me on research for about 4 years. I helped them develop the Starlac non-fat dry milk solids.
Oh, wow.
And dry milk solids. And I got that. Then I closed the plant, and I went to Borden's in Perry.
Getting closer.
Yeah. Then they, Larry Cushing, I stopped there just to see about a job. They took me in 2 days later.
Boom.
And, I was lab director there.
Wow.
Taught butter making. I run the lab. Yeah.
A couple of businesses that you started here in the Batavia
Then I got
area.
the laundromat going.
Mm-hmm.
Then I bought Golden Mobile Home Park.
Mm-hmm.
And I sold Ford trucks,
Mhm.
camper trailers, everything I did good. And I had good people working for me. And I had 14 girls working for me at the laundromat.
Laundromat, yeah.
But you do a better job than the other fellow. The other laundromats were quite as clean.
Mm-hmm.
The attitude, that makes a lot of difference.
Oh, it sure does.
And, so I closed. There were 7 other laundromats. I closed them all up.
Yeah.
And,
That's
and
awesome.
I borrowed $200,000. I paid it off in quarters and dimes.
Ha! Amen. That's awesome.
I've had a charmed life. Then my wife had the beauty shop in there.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty shop. And, it worked out good. And Genesee County and Joe Gervais was nice. All the dignitaries were good to us. And I had 36 rental units at one time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Conrad Gifford, you have lived a life, my friend.
A charmed life.
Well, I've got to ask
I
you.
went through ambushes in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with the 24th. We got ambushed.
24th Infantry Division.
Yeah. Then they transferred. I got across the Necton River. And Colonel Michaelis was a protege of Colonel Patton.
Mm-hmm.
And he took me in pretty good. And he asked me, he did no outfit. And so I So I joined the Wolfhounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I had a friend up at Long Lake. I want to compliment him. Bob Kusan. He was right alongside of me. Got an eye shot out like that. Through war. There's some things I'm proud of to doing. There's some things I didn't. War is war, whether we like it or not.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, Conrad, we've only got about a minute to go.
Yeah,
I want to ask you right now, as you know what's happening to you. What's in your heart? How are you feeling? What's going on right now with you that you can?
My country's being torn down.
It's breaking your heart.
It is. My country was built up beautiful. I'm making an ass of myself.
No, you're not.
But the United States will rebound. Anarchy is right now. It's good. It's straight now. The veterans will be there.
It breaks your heart seeing what's going on, though.
I went through the last depression back in the 30s. I could see it back then, but this is different. And the colleges teach different. I got relatives, Republican, Democrat. Everyone's got their own ideas. Yeah. We've
been talking to Conrad Gifford. It's been a delight to make your acquaintance.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing.
I appreciate every bit talking to you.
Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing your story. This segment of Main and Center, groundbreaking.